And hello, welcome to the show. It is, I don't know why I wanted to say September. It is not September. It is March 21st, 2021. Welcome back to the Ram Show. Hello, Zach. How's it going?
Fine.
Ugh, my hair's a mess. Not that I really care all that much. Anyway, okay, being an IT admin has its pros and cons.
Yeah, I guess a lot of things do have pros and cons, you're right.
So, the pros are that, I get to play with a bunch of tech and do a bunch of cool stuff and things like that, right? One of the cons is that, right? I have been asked every time people need help with IT, I'm the one who gets called.
You're misrepresenting the truth. Every time anything doesn't work right that plugs into a wall.
So
what it is.
In this case, right? So they are doing these. There's what is it? It's kind of like a Bible study thing, I guess, but it's like for Lent, basically. And so the person that was organizing it reached out to me a while back and was like, hey, you're the tech guy. Can you help us with this? I was like, yeah, sure. Okay, fine. Right? No big deal, right? So the first session, we had a massive snowstorm. Everybody met through Google Meet. And that was fine because that's how we were going to do something similar to that anyway. So there's basically two groups. There's a group that's meeting in person at the church, and then there's another group that's all virtual. And they're being led by different people. So last week, I got a message from the leader that was doing the on-site stuff saying that one of the people that was part of that group wanted to join that group remotely. Like, okay. And so they wanted to meet those same individuals want to meet the same way again this week. Yeah, anyway, so I'm like, I have to do all that then, which is fine. It just makes things a little goofy with like the scheduling of like trying to do this show here or that thing and all this other stuff, but it's fine. It's good. Worst case scenario, and this is one nice thing about technology, right? Is I can turn on the projector and all the sound system equipment and everything from my phone, from the comfort of my house, and I had to drive down there and turn the laptop on and set some stuff out and things like that. But now that that's all set up, I can basically, if I really need to, I can run everything from the house here. So that's pretty neat. Because, like, remote management software or remote desktop connection software is awesome. 10 out of 10 would recommend. So, how much in your everyday, like, tech job, Zach, do you use remote management software?
Every.
Right, yeah, exactly. You just
horrible, and I hate it.
Oh, that's right! You guys were using Wise Connect, right?
A derivative of it, I believe.
Or ConnectWise, I'm sorry. ConnectWise, that's what it was. Or something similar to ConnectWise. And then your company, like, dumped it after, like, some, like, security...
After a security incident that was honestly warranted. It was warranted that it needed to be dumped because of the vendor's handling of the situation and the situation at all and the fact that the situation had happened at all. But the fact that they refuse to look for anything better than this Beyond Trust program, I hate it. It's so bad. It's such a useless program.
Oh, man.
I tell everyone that it's useless.
So we are using remote utilities is what we're using. We're on a free tier. Actually, they just sent some updates down. As far as I know, we haven't had any issues with it. It's a little slow to connect right now. I don't know if there's some more encryption or something going on in there or what exactly, but it was a little slow to connect into some of the systems I've noticed now. But Anyway, it still works just fine. So in fact, let's see here. So I can, nope, not that system. So we'll say log on to that, and give it a second here. Thinking. Hey, there it goes. And then I can pull this guy up. So basically, you load all your systems in. So you download a host, you download a viewer. Viewer runs on obviously the system that you want to use to remote into them, and then the host runs on the system that you want to remote into, obviously, right? And then you just enter some credential information, and bada bing, bada boom, things are happy for the most part. So, yeah, goodness gracious, this is taking forever. Like, this always used to take a couple seconds to, like, connect into the systems, but, like, it's way worse than it used to be now. So, I don't know what's going on. Hopefully that gets fixed in an update. It's still trying to connect to the system, which is kind of awful now. Anyway, I really wish you could have like a remote desktop connections like session as more like a true remote desktop session. You know what I mean?
No, I kind of don't, honestly.
Or what I mean is like I wish that it didn't necessarily take over the entire system. I wish what you could do is holy crap, this is still trying to connect in. What is going on? Let's pick full control. Come on. There it goes. That was weird. Anyway. Gonna give me full control. Oh, yeah. So, basically, I should probably, oh. That's not my password. This is the other problem about being like an IT admin. Oh, something went wrong. Anyway, let's see here. Yeah, so anyway, so this is the software that we're using. And so obviously you can see the remote system right here. But yeah, I can do everything that I normally would do. Pull everything up. The cool thing about this is we can have multiple people in the same computer at the same time. Like remote sessions, I mean. Which is actually pretty cool. It gets a little interesting though, because then you have like 2 or 3 people trying to move the mouse all at the same time.
Oh, how I would love a button that blocks the user from moving the mouse.
I don't know if I have a button for that, but I can blank the host screen.
Don't care about that, to be honest, but sure, I guess.
Well, if you blank their screen,
that works too, I suppose. They won't try to do anything.
Oh, here we go. Lock host mouse and keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
It does give me that option.
Let's be nice.
Dude, honestly, remote management software is nice because I don't have to go down there all the freaking time.
And as terrible as the software that we have is, the company pays a fortune for it compared to what the other software costs.
I pay nothing for this. So I can't complain too much.
That's really they could probably save money and get a good tool, but no, just no. We're just gonna use this trash, I guess.
TeamViewer is not horrible. It's just kind of expensive.
I dislike TeamViewer.
Why is this?
I just don't like it. I don't think it's as smooth or streamlined to use.
What did I click on? Somehow I landed on lttstore.com. Oh yeah, that's right. You don't really watch Linus Tech Tips, do you?
No.
That's like a major pun. Um or not a pun, but so like Linus Tech Tips has launched like a ton of merchandise and everything. And so it's almost a joke in the videos now. Like every single video has a call out for their store basically. So they'll fit it in somewhere and they're like lttstore.com. So
Very funny.
it was kind of annoying at first, and now it's just they try to do it in a pretty tasteful way now. Oh, this is what I was looking for. Anand Tech. Is that Anand Tech?
I don't actually know which one it is.
Apparently was missing a link to that story. Anyway. Oh, so obviously I've been playing around with my virtualization server, Proxmox, all that fun stuff, right? I have finally discovered how to create what are called containers. And a container it's an LXC container, but it's kind of the same theory behind like Docker containers and things like that, where they basically use the kernel of the hypervisor itself. And so what's really awesome about them is they load up super quickly, and they're super efficient in terms of resources and things like that. So if I log in here real quick, this you might find kind of neat. So anyway, so if we look at this, right? So here's kind of the summary of where we're sitting right now. So I'm only using about 10 gigs of memory overall on the system right now. Here's a little Pi hole. Here's a VPN that I was working with. This doesn't work quite yet. I have an issue with the networking somewhere. The port forwarding doesn't quite work through the container for some reason. So I gotta figure that out. I don't know if that's an issue with with the traffic going through the hypervisor and then to it, or what exactly. I'm not quite sure. And then here's the print server right here. But this guy right here only needs 512 megs of memory, Zach.
Yeah.
Oh, and watch this. This is super freaking cool. So I'm gonna open up the no VNC console. This thing is awesome, right? So this container is off, right, Zach?
Right.
I'm gonna say start.
Oh, it's gonna be quick.
Yeah, it's pretty much up. Yeah, there you go. Like as soon as the black screen came up, it was up. It just wasn't at the login screen yet. But like
fancy.
That's like freaking awesome. So yeah, see it's taking longer for the VNC console to like show it than like the system actually is taking to load up. Oops. Oh yeah. We'll stop that. Shut it down. So anyway, yeah, it takes longer for the system like realize what's happening than it does for the whole thing to like either turn on or turn off, which is pretty cool. So yeah, containers are pretty awesome. Now if only I could figure out the networking portion of them. A lot of these could probably move to to containers rather than full VMs, making my system even more efficient. But I mean, I was much higher on my memory usage, and then I moved just one of these to a container. I moved the print server to a container, and it's so much more efficient now. So, but yeah, anyway, so all the cool things that you can do with a virtualization server. Any updates on your stuff?
No. Because I haven't really looked at it.
I was wondering if you just hadn't had a chance to look at it, or
I'll get to it eventually.
You'll get to it eventually. So what's your what's your server doing right now? Is it basically just sitting there like powered off?
Well, I put Windows on it, and I haven't even activated it because I couldn't be bothered yet. But yeah, I mean, it's basically just waiting to have me look at it.
I see.
Oh, well, I put Windows on it, but I preserved the Proxmox. It's still there too.
I still think the one thing that you should do though, and we kind of talked about it, was and you probably will end up doing it just because like it's just a really awesome thing to have, and that is the VPN. Are you gonna build a VPN?
I don't know if I'm probably at some point. I don't know.
It's nice to be able to
But
have
I don't know if I
access.
would use it that much.
I don't intend to use mine that much either, but it's nice when you want to have access to your stuff. And you're not physically there. And you can just get into your systems.
I mean, what I really probably should do is just nuke the whole thing and rebuild it. And maybe it'll work better.
Yeah. So I'm using.
But again, it's just like finding the motivation to do it.
What do you mean finding the motivation to do it?
But yeah, finding the motivation to sit down and spend all day on something like that.
Dude, I live for that stuff. I love that. I couldn't wait to build my server to get things up and running.
Well, neither could I, and I did it, and it was great, and then I realized I had a problem. I spent a long number of hours on the problem and couldn't figure it out.
So I have the same issue trying to figure out why the VPN inside of a container wasn't working. I haven't figured it out yet. So actually, yeah, I kind of get it. You get to a certain point where
I get this point of like, oh, well, gee, I'm basically out of ideas, and I don't really want to look at it anymore because I've tried everything I think of.
I get it. Yep, I do.
That's why I think that it would maybe be best just to rebuild the whole thing. But at the same time, I spent a lot of time to get it to where it is. So I don't want to mess with that. But you know what? Whatever. I don't know.
Luckily, building the VPN is pretty simple. And actually, let's see. So I got to look at something real quick here now, like why I'm thinking about it. So let's see, 172.31, 3.1. Yeah, this should be it. So, actually, this is going to be pretty small. But let's see. So, if I throw this up here, right? So, cd etc. Oh, apparently I don't have that command installed. ls-l. Why don't I have that installed? I gotta see if I have. I don't know if I ever reinstalled it. So there's that update client that is supposed to run to update my maybe I don't have it on here. So because I had to basically don't do this. If you have something that works, don't delete it until you have another thing that works. So it's like, I'm going to move the VPN to a container, right? Okay, cool. Set it up, give it an IP address. I figured it was just going to work. So I deleted the existing VPN server, right?
And then it didn't work. I wouldn't do that until I had a need to free up those system resources.
So I deleted the other one, right? And then it didn't end up working, and so I had to go back, and so no, apparently I haven't reconfigured this fully yet, but, yeah, so, sudo pi vpn -c. So this would show, like, all the clients that I have and stuff like that. But PyVPN is super awesome. Like, so it's like sudo curl, or I don't know if that's supposed to be pronounced curl. And then you like put the address in that the PyVPN website gives you. You hit enter, and it just like downloads everything, and then it runs you through like a wizard basically. And then after the wizard runs, you create a user. So sudo pyvpn -a, and it has you like put a name in, and asks you how long that you want that certificate to last for basically, and then it has you make a password, and then it generates the file, and then you go grab that file and you dump it into the like OpenVPN client. And yeah, so it's actually pretty simple though. So it's honestly more work to set up the dynamic DNS than it is to set up OpenVPN itself. So and the cool thing is that like OpenVPN, like, so what I did was I went into the Etsy folder and the network folder. Well, let's see, cat interfaces, and so like I actually had to go in and I didn't have to, but I went in and manually set all this stuff ahead of time. So it had a static IP address and things like that. But anyway, so I don't know. I've been playing more with Linux lately, and I don't know. It's fun to kind of screw around with stuff. So, by no means would I ever actually. Okay, I did think about this. I thought about loading like Debian or something with a GUI onto a laptop and using it as an everyday carry for a while, just to see what I thought. But I don't really have a system that I want to dedicate to just running Linux on, because Windows is still my go-to, obviously. So, like, that's a thing. But did you hear about this? Crypto miners have fooled NVIDIA's anti-mining limiter with a $6 HDMI dummy plug, Zach?
I didn't hear about that, but I did hear that NVIDIA released unnerfed drivers for mining accidentally.
Well,
so you don't even have to fool the card anymore. You can just download NVIDIA's own driver that doesn't have nerfed hash rates and use it.
Oh, man.
You don't even have to fool it into doing anything.
So sometimes the toughest problems have the easiest solution. NVIDIA might claim that its hash limiter on the GeForce RTX 3060 is unhackable. Clearly not. In fact,
how could it be unhackable? Like,
in fact, you don't even have to hack it, apparently, Zach. You can just download the new drivers.
No, well, you don't. But I mean, this whole thing about like mining cards and gaming cards is the stupidest thing ever. It's like anybody who thinks this is going to help the market for gaming cards needs to just take a moment and think, where is the supply of GPUs for mining cards coming from?
Yeah, it's all you like everything uses silicon. And there's still dies.
Not only that, but the big companies that do crypto stuff that have giant farms of GPUs, they can hire people who can just write their own drivers for the cards.
Is the argument,
they don't care. They don't care if NVIDIA release drivers that say you can't mine on these cards, because they will just buy the cards anyway and then write drivers that mine and mine.
That is a good point. I was going to say, is part of the argument here, though, right, that a gamer is likely only going to use, well, actually, yes, now is probably only going to use one card, right? Versus miners that are going to be using multiple, like buying up multiple.
Mining firms buy thousands of cards. They're the problem.
So, and
they're one of the biggest.
Are gamers even using more than one card these days? Because NVIDIA killed off. What was that called?
SLI.
Yeah, SLI.
I think you can still multi GPU. I don't remember what they call it now, though. to be honest. It's so irrelevant that I don't even remember what it's
So
called
why did they kill off SLI? Because people weren't using it?
because it sucked.
Did it really?
I mean, it depended greatly on whether or not developers could be bothered to support it.
Oh,
If
yeah.
developers could be bothered to support it, yeah, it worked as advertised, and you could see performance gains, pretty significant in some cases. But the problem was that, well, it's a it's a chicken and egg problem, I guess you could say. Like, not many people were using it, so not many developers, wanted to support it. And since there weren't many games that benefited a lot from using it, not many people would use it.
Yep.
So it just kind of never really happened.
It never went anywhere. Wow. The same thing happened to
Well, and not only
Microsoft with the
that, but
Microsoft
it's
phone.
also expensive to just buy multiple GPUs.
That is true. That is true. So yeah, so they claim that the RTX 3060 was unhackable, but that doesn't mean that a workaround doesn't exist, right?
That is such a stupid thing to say. Like, unhackable? What is that supposed to mean? I refuse to believe that there is anything preventing a big mining firm from just writing their own drivers for the thing. Or for some crazy geeks to do the same just because they're bored. I don't know. I could honestly see that happening.
Well, okay, but apparently they don't have to because cryptocurrency miners have seemingly found the solution to the limiter. And it only cost $5.99. Or it's free if you apparently, like you said, Zach, just download the new drivers. So, I haven't heard that one, but anyway. So the GeForce RTX 3060 has got to be one of the most controversial graphic card launches of recent years, arriving in a time of turmoil. The mid-range Ampere graphics card has been sought after by cryptocurrency miners for its Ethereum mining powers, although Nvidia put an anti-mining algorithm in place to nerf the GeForce RTX 3060's hash rate in Ethereum. The mechanism didn't last very long, however, as odd as it may sound, Nvidia gave away the key to its own kingdom when the chipmaker, yes, here you go, Zach, accidentally released a GeForce beta driver that disabled the limiter. Way to go, guys. Way to go.
Well, and restricting a workload for a video card is... That's dirty, I'm not very fond of cryptocurrency mining either, but, to basically artificially restrict, like, this card is capable of however many hashes per second, right? But to just arbitrarily write drivers that say, actually, we're just going to, for no reason, go much slower than that, just because we don't like that work.
There's got to be a way on the
that
logistics side of things, though.
Like, that's dirty, and I don't agree with that at all.
Okay.
No company should do that.
But there's got to be...
You buy a piece of silicon, and you do whatever you want with it. I don't care. No one should care. The company should not be able to tell you what you can do with the thing you bought. It's yours.
Let's ask Apple how they feel about that, Zach.
I'm sure Apple... I'm sure, who's it from Apple? Tim Cook.
You mean Tim Apple? But yes, you're right. Yep.
Tim Apple?
It's Tim Cook. I used to call him Tim Apple.
Tim Apple. Well, look, I'm sure him and, Jensen Leather Jacket hang out in his kitchen all the time and talk about, how much they like to prevent people from, they both love to prevent people from doing things with the thing they bought, but, whatever.
And John Deere, apparently.
Oh, yes. I don't know who's in charge of John Deere, though.
Well,
maybe whoever they are, they can head on over to Jensen's kitchen
I wonder,
as well.
though, as critical as farming is to our, I'm sure to our economy, right? And the limitations that John Deere has put in place, I wonder if that is possibly the key to right to repair right there. I don't know.
I'm fairly sure that saga has been going on for quite a while.
It has. So John Deere's argument is like, well, these things are pretty much autonomous now.
Unsafe.
Well, yeah, because their argument is like some of these things are
It's
like
unsafe.
kind of autonomous, and so
Blah
they're like, you
blah
can't have
blah.
somebody like working on them that doesn't know what they're doing, and like,
How about you can do whatever you want and you're responsible for whatever happens?
yeah, I would say so.
Done. Done and done. I mean,
Yeah,
look.
but see, the argument is going to be for John Deere that like, well, yeah, but then they're going to like try to sue us, and
Yeah, that's why once again, you know, maybe the software has a maybe they have a disclaimer in the software. I don't know. If you are modifying the software, therefore you agree that whatever you do is your personal responsibility only. Blah 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 blah. Blah, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's kind of similar, but not really. But in any case, when you overclock your CPU, you are essentially agreeing to the same thing, right?
That's less of a thing
You're
these days, now, though, isn't it?
it is kind of less of a thing. Well, it's more automated, right? CPUs have that stuff kind of baked in. But in any case, if you choose to overclock your CPU, it's essentially the same agreement is being made. You're being allowed to customize your equipment,
Modify the hardware
and
you own.
and that's fine. But obviously, you therefore agree that if you break it,
It's on
company
you,
isn't responsible for it.
right?
Duh. I mean, that seems reasonable. I don't
It
know
does
why
seem
anybody would
reasonable.
disagree with that, but I don't know. It's just
Mm-hmm.
really the image of farmers hacking their tractors just really makes me laugh.
Not so much hacking; it's wanting to repair them when they break. So,
Oh,
now,
just let me have my funny image, okay?
all right, all right. I'll let you have your funny image. So back to the driver thing here. So the beta
Hacker
driver.
farmers.
Okay, so I don't know if you heard this, but apparently the beta driver doesn't actually unlock Ethereum mining or completely unlock Ethereum mining. There's still some restrictions present there. For starters, the driver supposedly limits the mining activities to one GeForce RTX 3060. It does this by requiring the graphics card needed to communicate with the motherboard through a PCIe 3.0 times 8 interface. Times 8 or by 8?
I think it's by 8, but I actually am not certain.
Interface as a minimum, meaning PCI Express times 1 by 1 risers are useless.
Wouldn't that impact your performance if you were connected one slot? Because I mean, surely your GPU requires much more bandwidth than that, right?
Okay, so
Or is mining not very bandwidth heavy? I don't
I
know.
don't know. It does this by requiring the graphic card to communicate with the motherboard through a PCI 3.0 X8
If you had a
interface
bucket load of
as a
lanes, I
minimum.
guess, on your CPU, I guess you could maybe get around it.
Oh, wait. Okay, so it has to use a PCI 3.0 times 8 interface as opposed to using a PCI. Like, that's its minimum.
Yeah, basically,
So if you're using a
you have
PCI
to use a
Express,
full-size slot.
yeah. So if you're using a PCI Express, like times 1 riser, it's going to be useless. Okay.
I guess that must be a common way to configure the cards because I don't know. Honestly, I'm not really seeing the point of that, but maybe they
Oh,
know
so here's
something
why the
about
hack
mining
is
setups that
working.
we don't.
Here's why the hack is working, because furthermore, a monitor has to be connected to the GeForce RTX 3060 via the HDMI port or DisplayPort output. Or at least the card has to think that it's sending a signal. That's why this hack works.
Right. I mean, you can probably just go and buy a dummy plug.
So NVIDIA's conditions aren't as demanding as they sound. The PCI Express 3.0 X8 requirement only means that you'll need to pick up a motherboard that has sufficient PCI Express 3.0 8 slots to house the number of GeForce RTX 3060s that you plan to stick in it. The second request seems
Well, Wonder if
or
that's
requisite
dependent on how
seems.
many lanes your CPU has as well, or if that doesn't
Oh.
matter.
The second requisite seems expensive since you don't need to connect a monitor to each RTX or GeForce RTX 3060. However, NVIDIA's driver isn't as smart as the chipmaker makes it out to be. Oh, yeah, I'm sure. The driver detects if a monitor is connected to the graphics card, but it can't tell the difference if it's a real display or not. I don't know how you do that, though. Therefore, an HDMI
I feel like
dummy
you could do
plug,
that.
which retails for as low as $5.99 on Amazon, easily tricks NVIDIA's driver into thinking that a display is effectively present when in reality it isn't. What would be the point of an HDMI dummy plug, though?
Well, because then you don't have a bunch of cables dangling out of your PC. It's just a little dummy plug that just goes in the port, and it's not a whole cable, right?
Right, but why would you need that anyway? If you don't need the HDMI output, then don't.
Because it would do the same thing as plugging in a fake cable.
I know, but I'm
As
saying why
plugging in
does the
a
I know,
cable
but I'm
to a
saying
non-existent
why
display.
does the fake cable have to exist in the first place? That's what I'm getting at.
Oh, I thought you were saying why would you use a dummy plug over just a cable?
No. What I was saying is why does the dummy plug even exist? What's the point behind a dummy plug?
Oh, besides in this case?
Yeah, besides in this case.
Well, perhaps for other applications where you might want to fool something into thinking it has something plugged into it.
I guess, but I can't think of what. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, I can't think of any other
I mean,
reason
I
why you
can't
would
think
use
of a
that.
scenario either, but at the same time, there are definitely a lot of weird, like, niche software scenarios where,
That
yeah,
is
I mean, I
true.
could definitely see it happening.
Oh, I could see it happening too. Um, or is this like one of those products that like exist on the market solely because of this purpose, and it's like relatively new?
No. No.
Um, let's see. There's a user that has proven that the workaround is functional with his 4-way GeForce RTX 3060 setup. Each graphic card put up a hash rate of around 48 megahertz or MHz. Is that megahertz a second?
I think mega hashes, but I don't know for
Oh,
sure.
that
And I
makes.
also just Googled dummy HDMI plug, and yup, $8 on Amazon. So
um,
apparently, this device um will fool your system into thinking it has a display connected, and that might actually be useful in a remote desktop scenario where you might want to have a quote unquote virtual display connected, but not want to buy an actual screen.
mm, got it. Okay. Well, so
So
okay,
there's one scenario. I
in
mean,
the
I'm sure there are
you know what?
countless others where maybe
In
having
the
like a fake
case
display
of
is
in the case
useful.
of my remote management software that we're using, like on a laptop, if you have the lid closed, you can still connect to the system, but it won't actually display an image.
Yep. So I bet if you put a dummy plug into the display output, it would, and then set the laptop to display out to that port, it would probably work with the lid
Right.
closed.
Um, let's see. Anything else in here? So okay. So let's see. The users. Cooling is apparently very important since the graphics cards are stuck so close together. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Um, this says NVIDIA's hash limiter is but a small rock in cryptocurrency miners' path. Since a workaround is plausible, it's just a matter of time before someone perfects it to circumvent the anti-mining mechanism completely. Or, yeah, somebody creates, custom drivers and then releases them somewhere. GitHub repository. Actually, I don't know about GitHub repositories. Those might create some legal issues, but, definitely out there on the dark web somewhere, probably. All that good stuff. So, yup. Moving on. Hey, Zach. Intel launches Rocket Lake, 11th Gen Core i9, Core i7, and Core i5.
Okay.
Have you
Just
heard?
wait till the next. Just wait till the next launch. Don't buy this.
Intel officially launching its 11th generation Core family of desktop processors, also known as Rocket Lake. It's built on Intel's most advanced 14 nanometer process node technology.
14 nanometer plus 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 plus.
Yeah, like what are we even on now?
I have no clue.
The new product family will form the basis of Intel's premium desktop portfolio for most of 2021, if not longer. Oh gosh. And features processors with up to 8 cores. That's it?
They don't even have 10 in this line?
I don't think they do.
Why would you... What? Oh my gosh.
I think that was a thing. These processors are replacing, because 9th gen has 10 core processors, doesn't it? Or 10th gen, I'm sorry. 10th gen has 10 core processors, or does it?
I thought the 10900K was a 10 core. I'm sure it is.
Yeah, it's a 10 core processor.
Yes.
Yep, that's what they were talking. I heard some talk about this. How, like, the 11th gen processors that are replacing the 10th gen processors have 2 less cores. What? Like, what?
Is it 11900K?
I don't.
I
Well, let's see
it
here.
Looks like it is.
Yeah.
Wow, it is. What? It's 8 cores. Why?
8 cores, 16 threads.
Why? And the MSRP is $539.
Yeah, so I don't understand what Intel is doing here. Like, and
wait. What? $500?
And you get 2 less cores.
Would you buy that?
2 less cores. Actually, okay, so hang on.
For $10 more at MSRP, that's a big if you can get it at that price. The Ryzen 5900X has 12 cores.
Okay, so the Intel Core... Hang on, let's look at this. Okay, so the Intel Core i9 10900K processor, right? So is that like... That's supposed to be like the creme de la creme, like top of the line, like 10th gen...
So yeah,
like Intel processor. Okay, so apparently I don't know if this is the MSRP, but apparently it says $429.99, right? So
now or was that at launch?
Well,
I wonder.
It says from up at the top of the page here.
Okay.
Yeah, so $430 at Micro Center right now, right?
That's still more than you should pay for anything like that.
Let's see. So that's the 10th gen Intel Core i9, right? On 14 nanometer. Okay, so we haven't made any changes there. But yeah, 10 cores, 20 threads, right? A base frequency clock of 3.7 gigahertz. What is this?
It was pretty darn high, but
base frequency of 3500. Let's see.
Yeah, so the 10900K is the best of the best that you can buy from the 10th gen. What, or 10 cores. Boost.
Okay,
5.2
the TDP is exactly the same.
Or...
So they haven't changed. They haven't made any improvements in that area.
Yeah, I don't understand. Where did the 2 cores go?
Yeah, why did 2 cores just disappear?
Why don't I look at the whole lineup?
Wait, okay, and look at this. Hang on. Here's the thing.
I want to look at the whole lineup.
There you go. There's the article.
Yeah, the 11900K. This is the one. This is the best. 8 cores.
Okay,
why?
And here's the thing: if it's 8 cores, right, then why is the TDP still the same as a processor that has 2 more cores on it?
This is a head scratcher, to be honest. I don't know.
Like, but okay, like, I don't know. I don't know that much about processors, but I would imagine that if you have 8 or like 2 less cores, that your TDP would be lower, right?
Their all-core boost speed isn't even faster. They both boost to 4.8 gigahertz on all cores.
Yeah, and it's $540, $539.
That's
Why
an
would anyone buy
incredibly
this?
ridiculous price.
Why would anyone
More
buy
than
this?
$500, AMD will sell you 12 cores for that much money. I mean, okay, they won't boost over 5 gigahertz, but for 50% more cores, I think that's an acceptable trade-off.
Is the boost really going to matter when you have more cores?
No, I don't think so. This is honestly ridiculous.
So the new product family will form the basis of, yes, Intel's premium desktop profile.
Okay, what about the 10700K? You know, the i7. Okay. Also, wait, no, that's 10. That one, I'm stupid. That's 10 series. 11700K.
8 cores, 16 threads.
$484.
For what?
10700K.
Okay, I mean, so the 11700K is only $400.
They would position the 10 or the 900, the i9 as like the high-end desktop, right? And then I guess they would position the i7 as like, you know, I mean, you know how i7
Okay,
was.
so the 11700, well, the 11700K
desktop processor, right?
Yeah, the 11700K.
Not for that much.
Will be 400, apparently.
Remember when i7 was always like, you know, $330, $350, $300?
No, I don't, but I can imagine.
When I got my 4790K, $330.
I'm not.
The price hike seems ridiculous for a company that's not competing in performance as well as the competition.
And you're getting 2 less cores.
Yeah, and the core regression? What's the point of that? Is there there must be some kind of reason for it.
Let's see.
I can't imagine what it could be.
Let's dive into this real quick here. Let's see. And features processors with up to 8 cores. So apparently that's where things top out. Highlights include the new microarchitecture, Cypress Cove, and the XELP graphics design, both of which are redesigns of Intel's 10nm mobile products. These parts also include Intel's first PCI 4.0 offering on the desktop. Okay. Is AMD offering PCI 4.0 yet? Yeah, I think they are, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Okay, so far not seeing a benefit here.
AMD has been offering PCIe 4.0 since the Ryzen 3000 series.
New AVX 512 for desktops. I'm not actually quite sure what that is. Better memory support. Support for resizable bar, BAR. I'm not quite sure what that is.
Oh, yeah, that's a tie-in with GPUs, and I forget what it is, but it's something that AMD is offering on. It's something that AMD is offering on the RX 6000 series, specifically when paired with Ryzen 5000 CPUs, but it's something that AMD's competitors are planning to bring to all GPUs and CPUs. So AMD will probably bring that to the rest of its lineup as well, basically, is what's happening.
New overclock.
And we could talk about that separately if you want. I can read a little.
New overclocking features and enhanced multimedia acceleration. Okay.
So basically, Intel wants you to think that some extra features on the side are worth going backwards in core count and not anywhere in clocks.
With Intel's desktop processor launches, we typically observe that the new family is all pervasive, enabling products from the top core i9 to i7 parts, all the way down to the Pentiums and Celerons. Why would anyone still buy a Pentium or a Celeron these days?
I don't know.
They're hot garbage.
Maybe you're putting together something that's, low end that needs to do a very specific job and nothing else. I don't know, but
what are you talking about?
I mean, I guess they don't really do any harm by existing.
I would like all the Pentium and Celeron systems that I've ever bought absolutely just blow chunks. Like so bad that they can't even apparently.
Intel says that. So Intel wants you to think that the new, the architecture improvements will grant you increased performance despite the regression in cores. Okay. I still don't know why you would.
Why would you
I really don't think that's.
Why
an
would you go
excuse.
backwards? That's the part
You
that
really
I still
just
don't understand.
Don't do that. I don't agree with that. That's silly.
Um,
Come on, Intel. That just smells like corporate damage control is what it smells like.
So, let's see here. Intel usually achieves this by building one, two, or more different sizes of silicon, often differing in core and graphics to achieve the right balance of cost, yield, and performance. Cost. Oh, goodness gracious!
To achieve the right level of milking money.
There you go.
Like all companies do. They're like, no, that's that all silicon companies do
so
that.
Apparently
They want to segment their products in the perfect way to extract the most money.
I should have done some more research on this, but anyway, for this generation, Intel has decided to only produce one size of silicon and segment its offerings, with the new family only being used for Core i5 and up. This one size silicon design features 8 of Intel's new Cypress Cove cores. So maybe that's what they're banking on. Is the idea that the Cypress Cove cores are supposed to be that much more effective, that they only need 8 of them instead of 10 of them, and that they can perform just as well?
I feel that that's a really bad look, though, to go backwards in cores. You don't do that. Come on.
Or you better have some really good numbers showing that it doesn't affect anything.
Well, imagine trusting Intel for numbers is
right, but on
foolish
paper,
decision.
On paper, though, right? Then again, like, okay, I don't think Intel is going to pull this off like Apple did, but, like, everyone thought that the M1 processor was going to be, like, this kind of, like, and then it, like, actually ended up being actually decently good. So, like, maybe Intel does pull that off here, but
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to buy an Intel, like, look, now if you're buying a CPU, you should just buy an AMD CPU. If you can get one.
On paper, though.
But
when you look at
around next year, if Intel gets their act together and gets their 12th gen out the door, it could be much more interesting.
Yeah, so here's the thing, though.
And goodness knows we need some competition right now.
We do. Here's the thing, though. On paper, though, right? Even if these Cypress Cove cores are perform better, right?
No excuse to give up the multitasking ability of those extra cores.
Well, okay, there's that, but on paper, it just looks bad.
Well, yeah, and it just looks bad. Yeah, I mean, corporations like to use buzzwords like optics and public image. And, well, let's just say that this decision is certainly not good for your optics or public image.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, so Intel's new
Cypress... just makes it, regardless of what the truth is, it makes it look like Intel failed to produce
they've been looking
improved product.
They're looking like they failed to produce a improved product for a while now.
Right, but that's next to their competition, though. In this case, it looks like they've failed to produce a product that even managed to improve over their own product.
Yeah, you're right. Again, there's that thing where it's like, when I heard the news that it was going to have 2 less cores than the last generation, I was like,
as
what?
A buyer, to see them ask for $539 for 8 cores is just insulting.
Yeah, especially
because Intel's competition wants $10 more for 12 cores.
Well, there's that, but then, like, the other problem is that, like, Intel has just kind of been slipping in the market space anyway for a while.
Bad value. They have.
It's looked like bad value for a while.
They're not. Well, Intel's not really. I mean, yeah. Because of that reason, I feel that they're in no position to really be.
Well, and if you
To really
remember when
be
AMD
money
was
grubbing like that,
yeah,
but
and
there
if
they
you
are.
remember with AMD, right, when they were kind of figuring things out again and launching the Ryzen lineup, right? What did they do? They created these awesome products with, you know, a much better, you know, more cores, more threads, right? And they priced them lower,
Yes.
right?
But Intel
Until
has too much pride to do anything like that, I feel. And you know, I mean, as much trash as we talk about them, I mean, they still sell a lot of parts.
they do, and that's
AMD has
because
what, like 27% or something market share, which is a lot
I
more than
think
they
the
used
thing
to
is
have, but it's not even close to what the competitors have
I think you're right, but I think that this is because Intel has such a strong tie with system integrators, you
with
know.
system integrators as well as, well, yeah, I guess system integrators really. And also, they have that presence in people's minds,
That's
for the
true.
decade that they trounced all over AMD. People, some people some people who live under a rock probably are just like, oh, Intel is obviously better because they've always been better. They must be better.
Yeah, I mean, well, if you think about it, like, if you ask people, like, who do you think of when you think of CPUs? Most people are probably going to tell you Intel because that's the name that they hear.
Oh, okay. So I just looked it up, and on the desktop, it's about 50-50, according to this website, on market share. Although I bet laptops and other stuff like that is a much different story. But on the desktop, AMD is currently ahead by a small margin
Well,
in
what a
market
lot of
share.
that probably is probably people building systems.
Oh, yeah, and also a lot of, it's not, the situation isn't as grave as it used to be in terms of system integrators either for AMD. Like just
Um,
looking around at just looking around, like, oh, I'm in Best Buy, and oh, hey, look, it looks like there's a lot more non-Intel systems here,
yeah, you're starting
right?
to see laptops now that are starting to integrate um, Ryzen processors into them. In fact, when I was
Intel has a much better grip on that market than the desktop.
yeah, well, I mean, the thing was when I was looking at when I was looking for a laptop, this was a couple of years ago now, probably. Um, I considered honestly buying a Ryzen system just because I have Ryzen in my desktop here, and I was like, these processors are actually pretty good. I ended up going Intel, but that was more because of the price of the system that I bought was an incredible deal. It was like $300 off. I was gonna be stupid to pass that up.
Yeah, no
Um,
kidding. I mean, it is all about the price performance, Price
well,
to performance. That is the ultimate metric in a lot of cases, and
yeah.
yeah,
Um,
wouldn't blame you at all.
the thing is though, is that had I known the direction that the world was gonna go and the direction that I was gonna go, um, like okay, look, I don't hate my laptop in my bag, but sometimes I wish I had something that was a little bit smaller, charged over USB C. I really wish I had a system that charged over USB C. That is a feature that I like. It's gotta be something in my next system. But see, when I bought my system initially, I went in with the mindset that I was going to, have a system that was going to be able to, um, do editing and that kind of production stuff on the go. That's initially what I wanted it for, and then I kind of transitioned away from doing a lot of that stuff and more to IT stuff, which I'd always been doing anyway. But like remoting into a system and
So you kind of wish for something a little less of a footprint.
yeah, something, dude. Honestly, okay, say what you want about like my MacBook, but
MacBooks don't have a large footprint.
I loved my 13. I loved my 13-inch MacBook Pro.
Whether or not it's worth the sacrifices to get the footprint down, that much can be argued, but you can't argue that they do have a small footprint.
Um,
battery life,
I
and they're thin but
yeah,
light.
I would consider. Well, okay, my mid 2012 MacBook Pro is not thin. It's pretty
No,
beefy.
no, it's not.
But
But they
okay,
offer thin computers.
say what you want about that though, but like that's still a really good system. It performs really well still. Um, Even in heavier tasks, stuff like that. But um anyway, yeah. I'm just trying to look and see if there's anything else in here about this Intel stuff. Um so yeah, so Cypress Cove cores. I still think even
Just wait till 12th gen or whatever they're gonna call it. They're actually doing an interesting thing where they have different sizes of cores. There are big cores and there are little cores, they
huh.
call them.
No,
It's
Zach.
definitely going to be interesting to see how how that setup performs.
Nah, Zach. Intel 12th gen. Now with 2 less cores.
You mean 11th gen now with 2 less cores?
No, 12th gen.
Well, there are already leaks floating around about some potential products, but I guess I haven't read up on that.
It was
Probably
supposed
won't
to
be
it was
changing
supposed to
my
be
CPU for a while.
it was supposed to be a joke that
But do you think what the i9 will now be 6 cores?
Yup.
That would be that would we were talking about optics earlier. Ooh, that's a bad look right there, that's for sure.
So anyway, yeah, no, dude, like this is interesting. We should maybe look more in. I should look more into that actually, because I don't know. It's interesting. I'm not quite sure what Intel thinks they're doing over there, and maybe it'll work out for them. But
Probably
I
won't. They'll just
kind of
it'll.
don't. I kind of don't
It
think it's
sounds
going
like
to.
just a launch that's meant to get them by for like a year, so they can get out there. They can put out their hopefully competitive product next year.
Okay, well, if they're going to be competitive, they better figure out what they're going to do with the price.
Yes, they do, and really, they've got to offer a better value than that because that's $540 for 8 cores is not a good value.
Yeah,
And
not when
like
you can
almost
get
2 years ago, I paid less than that for 12 cores.
yeah, and not when you can spend almost that same amount
I don't
and
care if it
get a
boosts
better
to
product.
I don't care if it boosts to 10 gigahertz. It's not a good value. Okay, if it boosts to 10 gigahertz, it might be, but we're trying to keep our expectations on Earth,
Right.
and that's not going to happen. So 4.3 gigahertz or 5.3 gigahertz of boost is not going to suddenly make that poor value any more appetizing, at least in my opinion.
So, anyway, moving on to Microsoft news for this week. Let's see, what do we got going on this week? So, if you're the kind of person who'd be amused to learn that a humble printer can blue screen your entire Windows 10 PC, here's a dose of.
I wouldn't put it past a printer. They're evil after all.
Let's see.
Everyone knows printers are evil, so I really.
Well, when Microsoft tried to fix those blue screen issues with a Monday patch, the patch may have not gone quite as planned. Really?
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Is that so? Okay. What did they do?
So some users started reporting their printers would simply spit out blank pages or ones with missing graphics.
Printer's haunted.
Now the company has released a second patch to address these issues too. Microsoft identified an issue that affects Windows 10 devices, which applied the March 2021 security update released March 9th, 2021, and the out-of-band updates released March 15th, 2021, and a resolution has been expedited. Affected devices might receive unexpected results when printing from some apps or to some printers. Issues might include missing or solid color graphics, misalignment, formatting issues, or printing of blank pages and labels.
But why? Why did they have to even mess with printing?
Why can't Microsoft do proper testing before they release these things?
Look, testing is expensive, okay? You really can't expect a
That's why they've
tens of
offloaded it to the
billions of
community.
dollars corporation
That's
to
why they
spend money
That's why
on
they
that.
offloaded it to the community.
Testing is just so expensive and so time consuming. Oh, we just can't do it.
But yeah, that's why they offloaded it to the community.
Oh.
Some users say.
But what do they say about it? Wait, that's what they say about it. They don't offer any excuses for why this happened.
No, probably not. Well,
Probably
maybe
not,
they do.
okay.
I don't know. Some users say that it works and may even fix some additional blue screen in computers. A few say they're still having issues. Let's see. Oh, okay. That's the end of that story there. So, okay.
Okay. Microsoft broke your printer. Okay.
Wow,
That's
they
it. TLDR, Microsoft broke your printer.
Fixed a problem that maybe wasn't a problem to begin with.
Look, honestly, if they made printers explode, then I might say they fixed them. But no, I don't think this counts as fixing them. Sorry. Because printers really should just, if a printer exploded, I would probably say that nothing of value was really lost. Oh, it was just a printer. We don't care about that. Those are useless, and no one should care about them. Unfortunately, some people live in the Stone Age and still use them, so.
Printers? I still use a printer.
I guess you live in the Stone Age, then. Don't trip over the woolly mammoth in your front lawn.
Sorry, hold on. I need to... Come on, load. I need to do one thing real quick here. Copy that. And let's see here. Oh, there's the edit button. That took way more clicks than it needed to. Anyway, okay. The Consumer Protection Agency in Brazil's Sao Paulo, I don't know how you pronounce that actually, has fined Apple $2 million for failing to include chargers with iPhone 12 boxes.
Okay. I'm sure Apple is not very concerned about that.
Yeah, Apple announced in October that the iPhone 12 would not come with chargers or earbuds in the box, citing environmental concerns. And we've talked about this, that like
the environment.
It's complete BS. So anyway, all right.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Moving on real quick here. I'm watching the feed here, and for this thing that's supposed to be happening at the church, because I can see the webcam here, and I don't actually see the leader here yet. So I know that the church is locked, and so I'm not sure if somebody was supposed to unlock it for them, or if this person's just not there yet, or what exactly. So I gotta keep an eye on that real quick here. So we're probably going to wrap the show up real quick. Tech companies like Mozilla, Reddit, and Vimeo called on the Federal Communications Commission on Friday to reinstate the net neutrality rules repealed by the Trump administration. So we'll see what happens with that.
Yes, they should do that.
Let's see. With Democrats in control of Congress and the White House, net neutrality advocates are optimistic that their long-fought internet rule will return. While there are many challenges that need to be resolved to fix the internet, reinstating net neutrality is a crucial down payment on the much broader internet reform that we need, the companies wrote in their Friday letter. There's no reason to further delay its reinstatement once the SEC is in working order. Let's see. Even if the FCC doesn't move to reinstate net neutrality on its own, lawmakers are considering their own legislative remedies. Earlier this year, a senator from, I think that's maybe Massachusetts, announced that they would be introducing a measure to bring back net neutrality in the upcoming weeks. This guy's previous efforts to codifying the rules into law failed. Them. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. It's interesting. Definitely. So, okay. I think I need to wrap the show up here. Yeah. So, all right. With that, thanks for watching. Thumbs up if you liked it. Thumbs down if you didn't. Get subscribed down below if you haven't done that already. And we'll see you next week.